All right, so in this video, we're going to be reviewing solving multi-step equations, which we've been doing over the past few days. So let's review these first 5 steps that we've been talking about, and I've had you write down a few times. Follow these steps in order, go one at a time, and it'll help you lead to your answer. So number 1, the distributive property. Look in your equation. If there's anywhere where you need to use the distributive property, to get that taken care of first. Look for those parentheses. Step number 2, combine your like terms. If you have any x's you can combine, go ahead and combine those. Any just regular numbers you can combine those. Okay, once you're done with that, step number 3, you want to get your x on one side of the equal sign. Sometimes it'll already be by itself on one side, but sometimes you will find it on both sides. So next step, get that on one side. And then 4 and 5 are just like solving 2-step equations. You want to get rid of that addition and subtraction, and then get rid of the multiplying and dividing. So let's jump in and just start looking at some examples. So number 1 here, we have 3 times the quantity of x minus 4 equals 24. So my first thing, just distributive property. I have it right here. So I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to multiply it by everything on the inside. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times a negative 4 is negative 12. So I'm going to write minus 12. And then over here I still have equals 24. There's nothing else I can do with that. Okay. Next, combine like terms. Well, I cannot combine the 3x and the 12 because this has a 3x, has an x with it, and the 12 does not. So my next step, get the x on one side. Well, it's already on the left. I don't have any x's on the right. So moving on to step 4, get rid of the addition or subtraction. So in this case, I have a minus 12. To get rid of that, I'm going to add 12 to each side. So I have 3x equals 36. And lastly, get rid of that multiplying or dividing. So this has 3 times x, so I'm going to divide by 3. And we get x equals 12. Okay, example 2. Let's look at this one. We have 6y plus 8y equals 52. First thing, distributive property. Well, I don't have any parentheses, so we'll go down to the next one. Number 2, combine like terms. So let's look over here. I have 6y plus 8y. They both have just a y, so I can combine these. 6 plus 8 is 14, so this will be 14y equals, and then just 52. I already have my y on one side. Step 4, I don't have any addition or subtraction to get rid of, so we're going to jump straight to step number 5. Get rid of this multiplication. So I'm going to divide by 14. Okay, and y equals, well, let's see, 14 goes into 52. Well, 3 times would get you to 42. So that would be 3 and 10/14. You could simplify that to 3 and 5/7. Okay, let's look at example number 3. All right, so just take it one thing at a time. Step number 1, distributive property. Well, here, I notice that I have the distributive property on both sides of my equation, so I'm going to do this twice. Over on the left, I'm going to take 4 times the x and 4 times the 2, so we have 4x minus 8. And then over here on the right, I have 2 times 3x and 2 times 4. So 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times 4 is 8, and that will be plus 8. So distributive property is done. Next is combining like terms. Well, on the left, I cannot combine the 4x and the 8 because the 4 has an x with it, but the 8 doesn't. Same thing over on the right. The 6 has an x, but the 8 doesn't. So let's move to the next one. Get your x on one side of the equal sign. So I either need to move this 4x over here or move the 6x over to the left. I'm going to go ahead and move my 4x. Now this is a positive 4x, so I'm going to subtract 4x from each side. Now look carefully, over here I am left with a negative 8. Okay, and then on the right, 6x minus 4x is 2x, and then I still have the plus 8. All right, next step, get rid of that addition or subtraction. So it says plus 8, so I'm going to subtract 8 from each side. Okay, so I'm left with 2x over on the right, and on the left-hand side, negative 8 minus 8. You're going further into the negatives. I get negative 16. And then finally, I'm going to divide by 2, and negative 16 divided by a positive 2 is a negative 8. And we're done. Okay, the very last one we're going to look at is a little bit different. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. But anytime you have a big fraction like this, you have multiple terms all divided by one single number. So we have this 3x minus 4, all of that divided by 3. So my first thing is I want to get rid of that 3. Now the problem says all of this divided by 3. So to get rid of that, I'm going to multiply by 3 on each side. So I'm left with 3x minus 4 equals, and then 7 times 3 is 21. And then I can just start to solve the equation. I don't have distributive property anywhere. I can't combine my 3x and my 4. My x is already on one side, so I'm jumping straight to step number 4, get rid of this addition. So, I'm sorry, get rid of this subtraction. To do that, I'm going to add 4. So we have 3x equals, over here we get 25. And then finally get rid of that multiplication by dividing by 3. Okay, and if we work this out, 3 goes into 25 8 times. I have a remainder of 1, so this would be 8 and 1/3.